Imagine getting up every day full of energy as if you were in your 20s again. What would that be like? What would it be worth to you? What is your health worth to you? Think about it. Your health isn't everything, but without it, everything else is nothing. And yet, too many of us are taking it for granted until something goes wrong. And no one wakes up hoping to be diagnosed with a disease or chronic illness. And yet, we've never been taught how to be proactive in our health through our school or public health. As a registered health coach and integrative health practitioner, I believe it's time this information is made available to everyone. Combining new knowledge around your health and the ability to do my functional medicine lab tests in the comfort of your own home will allow you to optimize your health for today and all your tomorrows. Don't wait for your wake-up call. Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Wait for Your Wake Up Call podcast. My name is Melissa Deely, your host, and here with me today at this special Podapalooza episode, I have Kathleen Maxwell with me. Welcome to the show, Kathleen.
Thank you for having me, Michelle.
I'm very excited to have you here, Kathleen. Kathleen coaches purpose-driven professionals who paradoxically find themselves struggling with fear, procrastination, self-sabotage, and imposter syndrome. Kathleen leads her clients through emotional release processes that result in breakthroughs that last. She empowers her clients to stop second-guessing themselves and start leading their lives the way they were always meant to live. So I love that, Kathleen. It's very aligned with the work that I do and what this audience is used to hearing. And I would just love to go back. There's always a backstory. So what led you into this line of work?
Oh, man, so many things. When I was in my late 40s, I got breast cancer, and I followed the regular protocols of having chemotherapy, lumpectomy, and radiation. And after I did all that, I thought, gosh, there's got to be a better way to heal. So then I started studying alternative healing methods, including hypnosis. And now I'm on to another thing that's even faster than hypnosis for helping people that I learned from Genius Unlocked. And it's all about releasing your trapped emotions so that they don't make you sick.
Absolutely, 100%. And our medical model doesn't look at our other bodies. It is just looking at our physical body. And yes, we start the healing process there. And there's also more than one way to heal. So if you're ever told this is the path, you can always look at alternative options as you did. And beyond the physical body, we do need to look at the emotional body. We need to look at the mental body. We need to look at the spiritual body. Because by the time the symptoms show up in the physical body, they've already moved through the other three. And then we have to go clear it in the other three in order to get to total health, which clearly you have accomplished that because unfortunately breast cancer takes a lot of lives, and you are here as a cancer thriver and now teaching others this path. So tell us more about this modality that you are now using to help clear the emotional body.
Oh, I call it a breakthrough modality. And basically what I do is I help people identify negative emotions such as anger, fear, sadness, guilt, or depression. And we release each of those emotions. And then we go into your past memories and we find the first time that you experienced any of these emotions, and we release it. Pull it out, as it were. And sometimes it was when you were a child, you had a anger problem, but sometimes it was even a past life. So we can go down your timeline, find the first time that you experienced that problem, remove it, and then just like a Jenga tower, when you pull out the bottom block, thank you. I'm losing my nouns. You pull out the bottom block, the whole tower collapses, and now you don't have this anger or this frustration that's pushing you through your whole life, and you're able to listen to your wise inner voice or your intuition, however you think of it, and you're able to function really at your best and highest degree of functioning instead of functioning from old programs that make you twitch and anger like that.
and that weigh you down like a bag of bricks. Literally.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
And this sounds like timeline therapy that I train others in and teach myself. And it
Yeah.
is such a fast and powerful tool. And I mean, I had one of my clients say to me once, wow, now that I've done that session, I realized that I had the washing machine, the dishwasher, and the dryer all running at the same time inside my head. And now it's cleared. I have quiet.
Yes. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful analysis. And oh, it's a beautiful
Analogy, yes.
metaphor.
I know. And when she said it, I was like, oh, that's brilliant. That is such a wonderful way to describe this. And our bodies and our healing journey truly require this because there is so much proof that over the course of time, all of that stuffed down negative emotion, which by the way, we all have, and by the way, we are all programmed to have because society teaches us to stuff down the emotion. I don't know about you, Kathleen. I know I heard, big girls don't cry and put your big girl panties on. And even at work, don't bring your problems to work, right?
Right. And definitely be professional. Don't take anything personally. Even though they just said something that was horrible, you're not allowed to react. You're just supposed to choke it back.
Exactly. And so then we do, and it gets stuffed down. And now we know how much that stuffed down emotion stays stored in our body. And it does cause dis-ease over the course of our lifetime.
Absolutely.
And so you had that experience of breast cancer, and then you did the traditional route in your healing journey. And how did you get into this or find this work for yourself? And then based on the success, I'm presuming you then decided to help others?
Yes. I studied several different complementary modalities, and all of them have the same message that you're speaking of, is your emotions that are trapped inside you can make you sick, and you need to release them. So I've released so many things, and unfortunately, I have a really long memory, so I've released all the things from this life, and I've released a bunch of stuff from past lives as well that have been holding me back. And now I feel much more confident and creative and happy. It's just nice to be happy. With the dishwasher and the vacuum cleaner and all the other appliances quiet, you can just sit around and be happy.
What a beautiful thing, right?
Absolutely.
We can achieve that. And this, as you said, this is very fast. One timeline therapy session to release the 7 negative emotions, for the first time client, 2 hours. And some people can do it in an hour. It just depends how in rapport they already are with their unconscious mind.
Yes.
And then we always recommend monthly cleanups because life is happening. So why not keep it clear? And that allows us to move through life in such a beautiful place of flow.
Absolutely. Also, sometimes once you take off the top layer, you realize that, oh, there's this other layer down here that needs to be cleaned up and released as well. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not a one and done. It just like you can't go for one jog and be physically fit for the rest of your life. You can't just do these processes once and clear out everything that will ever happen to you or ever has happened to you. It doesn't work that way.
Absolutely. We actually call it emotional hygiene. We have our physical hygiene, we brush our teeth every day, we shower, etc. And
right.
when do we take care of our emotional hygiene? And so doing these sessions once a month is allowing you to take care of your emotional hygiene. And I love also what you pointed out earlier about the fact that, you cleared it all in this lifetime, and then you've been going back and clearing it in past lifetimes, because the unconscious mind allows you to clear what it's ready for you to clear in that moment. And so, next time it might be a past life. It might be something that was generationally passed down for you.
Right.
And what I love about this work too is when you clear it in the past, you also are clearing it in your future. So yes. You're clearing it for your children so they don't have to carry what you came into this lifetime carrying.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So powerful. And do you have children?
I do. I have a son and a daughter, and I have a grandson and a granddaughter too. So
Beautiful. So you're clearing it multiple generations because you've done the work, you cleared it in your children and now your grandchildren.
absolutely, they deserve it.
Absolutely. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I don't know how you feel about this. I feel that if every, human on the planet had the opportunity to have one timeline therapy session, the world would be a very different place.
Definitely more peaceful. And,
Yes.
having people be more self-aware would be a wonderful thing.
Yes, and I,
So,
I love that you're talking about it because that's our mission is to get this out into the world and let people know this is an option in their healing journey. It doesn't mean everybody's going to do it. However, the more people who do, the more peaceful they can live in their lives and that peace spreads across the world.
absolutely. One of the things that I've found when I talk to people is if they are hearing a negative voice in their head that's very highly critical, that's a symptom of needing to have these emotions cleared.
Yes.
So, having a very vigorous inner critic, or possibly you have a very snapping ego. If somebody says, "Oh, I can't believe that you wear your hair like that," and you go, "Ah!" get really defensive, that's a symptom. If you're on a hairline trigger like that, that's a symptom that you've got a lot of energy behind that, a lot of doubt in yourself. Or if you're always willing to do everything that you're asked, could you pick up my kids for me too? Could you go to the store for me? Could you run extra copies? Could you take the notes for the meeting? I mean, at some point, you need to say no, but the inner child is so afraid to say no because they're afraid of being left out. So these voices are what circulate in your head, and they aren't even yours. That's the weird part. It's not yours. It's what's been programmed in you by
Yes.
your society, by your teachers, by your parents, by your friends, by your coaches, all the people that had expectations. They put in these voices in your head. And like I said, it's just ideas on replay. It's not even your own thoughts.
Exactly. They've come from somewhere else. And now that you've listened to this podcast, you can't unknow what Kathleen just taught you. And that means now you can bring into awareness and pay more attention to your thoughts and notice, do you have, a really loud inner critic in your head that maybe it's just been going on so long that you've ignored it and you haven't even noticed? Bringing that into awareness so that now you have awareness, now you can choose to do something about it. You can choose to contact Kathleen and go, I need to turn this off. Because let's face it, everything that the inner critic is saying inside your head, it's all BS anyway.
Right.
And I love to ask people, if you spoke to someone else the way you speak to yourself, would you have any friends?
Exactly.
And the answer is no.
That's right.
So we can all speak a little bit more kindly to ourselves, and we need to quiet that inner critic. And yes, this is a powerful modality for doing that. The other real clue to someone who's got a lot of stuff down, negative emotions, and this one should be obvious to the entire audience, is road rage. I don't know if you've ever witnessed road rage. I have. And in that moment, I observed and just went, wow, I bet
Yeah.
that fellow is going to go home later tonight and regret that he behaved that way. I'm sure that's not how he wants to show up in the world. However, his stress levels are so high and his emotional baggage is so high that in that moment he absolutely lost it.
Yep. Unfortunately, I lived in LA for 15 years, so I
Oh,
know a lot about road rage. And a lot of these raging people go home and drink to calm themselves
yes,
down.
that's a good
That's
point.
another symptom of you're not dealing with your emotions properly because you need to self-medicate to feel normal or to relax at night. So
Yes, that's
pay
another
attention.
very good clue. Yes. So you started this as a result of your own healing journey. And how long have you been working with people now? And how do you work with people so that the audience can understand, the services that you offer? If you could please share that.
Sure. I've been as I said, I started as a hypnotherapist, and that was about, gosh, now it's been almost 20 years when I first became a hypnotherapist. And I can work with people over Zoom. So there's
Hmm.
no travel associated, no road rage needed to,
Yeah.
to get to me. And it's perfectly safe to work with somebody on Zoom. And like I said, it's very convenient, very cost effective. So that's how
Yes.
I do almost all my sessions now.
Beautiful. Love that. And you're absolutely right. All of this work can be done on Zoom because it's very easy for uh, someone to be hypnotized. They just need to be willing
That's right.
and trust the process and trust your guidance and be able to follow your instructions.
Yes, and sometimes that's even easier when you're at home. You don't,
Yes,
sometimes you go into a doctor's office or a professional's office and you're like so nervous and what's going to happen to me and so on. When you're in your own home, you're under control. The environment is yours and you know that you can get up and leave anytime you want. And that makes it a lot easier to relax.
exactly. Exactly. Because if no, you've the comfort of your own home reduces the stress of everything else. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. So you mentioned earlier that you have a gift that you would like to share with the audience. Please
Yes.
introduce that and share what it is.
Um, it's a PDF. It's called the Inner Voice Shift. And what it does is it talks about the three voices that you have in your head, and it gives some techniques and strategies you can use to quiet them down, to notice them, and to deal with them. And also at the end, if you read all the way to the end, and there's lots of pictures, it's not a difficult read, there is a way to get in touch with me for a free session. So.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for your generosity. And let's talk about those inner voices in your head and dive a little bit deeper. Your what you like to talk about is that there are three voices in your head. One leads, the others distract. So let's talk about that a little bit more deeply too.
Well, what you want to do is you want to recognize when these other voices are speaking. And for example, your inner critic who tells you, you got something on your sleeve, and oh, couldn't you do something more with your hair, and blah, blah, blah. If you say, okay, look, today I'm going to be on a podcast, but before I get on the podcast, I need to write a description of my talk. And I want you, inner critic, to carefully look at everything that I've written down, make sure it's spelled right, make sure the punctuation's right, and then I'll be able to turn it in with confidence. Once you start giving your inner voices a job, then they stop trying to give you advice.
I
And when they
love that
stop
idea.
giving you advice, then you can hear your intuition and you can hear well, maybe you'd like to have a drink of water before you go on. That's something the inner voice that loves you only says nice things to you, only makes helpful suggestions. And that's the voice you need to pay attention to. It isn't bossy or pushy. And, I don't want to drink water right now. Okay, sorry, just thought you might. Just start to notice. When you start to notice the quality of what you're hearing and the advice that you're getting, you'll very quickly realize what's your intuition and what's someone else's voice from long ago that's just playing on repeat in the background.
I love that. That's a really great idea. And give your inner critic a job to do
Right.
because it can be useful in exactly the example that you provided. And give it a task so that it can go and do that. And then you can hear that intuition come through. Beautiful. So, Kathleen, I love to actually, before we go there, if you could please provide your website and your contact details so people know how to get hold of you and where they can find that gift.
Sure. The gift will be in the show notes, I'm sure. My website is yoursuccesscoachkathleen.com. And as you can see, Kathleen is spelled with a K. Some people foolishly spell it with a C, but it's actually yoursuccesscoachkathleen.com. And yeah, I will also make sure that there's a link to the gift on the homepage so that you can find it easily.
Wonderful.
And you can also make appointments there too.
Wonderful. So very easy for everyone to access you right there at yoursuccesscoachkathleen.com. And Kathleen, I love to ask every person that comes on my show this question. What does "don't wait for your wake-up call" mean to you?
When I was 16, I was riding my bicycle and I was hit by a car. And I had a near-death experience. I literally went to heaven and had a life review and the whole thing. And then I was told, oh, well, you really weren't supposed to die today. You have a chance to go back. And I said, I wasn't sure. And then God said to me, well, you haven't accomplished your mission yet. Me? I've got a mission. So yes, but you have to go back if you want to find out what it is. Don't wait for your wake-up call. Listen to your intuition. The thing that you love to do, the way that you help people is your mission. And by the way, my mission is to teach people to love themselves, which you might think everybody does, but they don't. Because I was told if everybody loved themselves, there'd be no wars, there'd be no hunger, there'd be no greed or being cruel to each other. And then I said, why? Why did I get such a big mission? But I'm not the only one with this mission. So we can all relax. Everybody just needs to give what they've got and give from joy, and they will have a happier life.
What a great story. And you chose that mission. And you chose it because you are capable of fulfilling it. And you are learning these powerful tools and offering those to society so that they can get to that place of loving themselves. And it starts by releasing all of that negative stuff down emotion and that inner critic, which quiets once all of the negative stuff down emotion in the body leaves. So beautiful. I love that. Thank you for sharing that story. And can you share an experience of working with a client where they had a profound breakthrough as a result of working with you? You don't need to name names, just, perhaps in all the years you've been doing this work, whether it's hypnotherapy or your timeline therapy, that you have a client that really stands out.
A couple of clients have had this problem where they didn't feel loved by their parents.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't feel like they had ever met the standards that their parents had for them. And one of the things that I helped them realize is that their parents were probably really proud of them. And I can say this because when I was a kid, I took a test at school. It was an IQ test. My dad went to the parent-teacher conference, found out the results of the IQ test, and he said, well, I can't tell you how you did on the IQ test. And I said, why not? And he said, well, it'll give you a big head. How many of us had parents that kind of withheld the praise, but were really secretly very proud of us? And sometimes when you can see that they were trying to protect your sibling so that your sibling didn't feel bad because you were the one that had the talent or the high IQ or whatever, then sometimes it's a little easier to forgive the parent for some of the silly stuff that they did. And also, once you have children, you start recognizing that being a parent is a little bit trickier than it looks from the outside. So those are the types of breakthroughs I like to do, helping people realize, A, they're good, and B, their parents were misguided, not mean.
Yes. And so it's a beautiful reframe and so powerful for those clients, because for them to go from thinking that they were unloved to realizing that they were loved all along, and the parents just, had a different way of showing it or a reason for why they said what they said, and the child misunderstood it, misinterpreted it. It shifts their whole life. It shifts how they show up in the world, and everything changes around them. So, yeah, thank you again. Excuse me for sharing, because such powerful work this is. So thank you, Kathleen, for coming on the show, for sharing what you do and how you do it and how you show up in the world. It's beautiful. We definitely need more practitioners doing this work and helping humanity heal.
It was a pleasure I'm so glad that you invited me on your show, and I'm going to become one of your biggest fans.
Oh, thank you very much, Kathleen. Appreciate that. And thank you too to the audience, to the fans that are already here listening to the Don't Wait for Your Wake Up Call podcast. I thank you for being here each and every week and for investing time in learning how to optimize your health, your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. And if this episode resonated with you, or you know someone that needs to hear it, please reach out to Kathleen, share the episode, and continue tuning in to focus on your health and being your best version of yourself. I am pleased to share with you a new training called Karma Code Timeline Therapy Practitioner Certification. This training is a powerful 3-day live on Zoom session teaching you how to help others in clearing all of their stuffed down emotion of anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, rage, and shame without them having to talk about any of the situations that ever caused the root of that anger, and release it from the cells in their body and have them feeling light. And also to release all of the BS stories running around in our head of being unlovable, unworthy, not good enough, powerless, etc., etc. And get rid of all of that chatter and allow them to have peace and quiet in their head. This training is transformational for your clients and for you, because during the training, you get to experience it both as a practitioner and a client and release all of that garbage for yourself and clear out your emotional body, your mental body, and keep them clear so that all of that stuffed down emotion isn't causing dis-ease later in your life. Check out the show notes for the link. Our first training is happening in 2026.